Hey everybody, I'm going to be going over the Loft tutorial with you and going over the step-by-steps. As you should know, all of the steps would be on the assignment and the procedure with all the correct dimensions, so you can always refer back to that as you're going through. And then this is just the introductory tutorial, and then we'll have this tutorial here attached to it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to create a new document. We're going to name this Loft underscore your last name. Okay, as it's loading. Okay, we're going to start with our regular three default work planes. And in this case here, we're going to start with the top work plane. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the front and the right. And for the first step of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and create a circle. And so I'm going to need to create a sketch. And we're going to choose the top work plane. And then I'm going to choose our center point circle tool. Okay, just make sure center point is selected. I'm going to move the view to the top view. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw a 6-inch circle. So go ahead and draw my circle. Click, and then I'm going to select dimension and then select the diameter. We're going to make it 6, hit enter. And that is what we need for our first sketch. Now, when we're doing a loft, what is best to do is to create what we call offset work planes. And that will help it keep things aligned when we're doing lofts. You can do things at angles, but it's much easier if everything's kind of lined up. And so we're going to use the origin point as our main point of alignment. And then we're going to stack work planes on top of work planes. So we're going to end up with 4 of them, including the top. So to create an offset work plane, what we're going to do is we're going to select the plane tool. So after we finish the sketch or close the sketch, hit the green check mark, we're going to hit the plane tool. Okay, once we select plane, it's going to ask us, okay, well, what do you want to offset from? And so we're going to choose the top plane. Automatically you see a plane 1 appears here right above it. And so if I move it to the front, what you're looking at is this is our top plane where the gold orange line is, and then this will be our new plane. Okay, and what an offset means is a distance parallel between 2 planes. And so right now it defaults to 1 inch. We're going to change that to 4 inches. Once we've done that, we'll hit the green check mark, and it moved up the other plane, so it's now 4 inches above. So we're going to kind of keep following the same pattern for this exercise, and so we're going to create another sketch. And what we're going to be doing is adding different sort of shapes to it, just so we can learn different tools that Onshape has to offer. So again, I'm going to create another sketch. Now this time I will click on plane 1. And again, I'm going to move it to my top view. So I'm looking at it straight on view. Okay. Now, the next shape I'm going to do is what's called a circumscribed polygon. So if I move down, here's my circle, center point circle tool. If I move 2 down, there's a tool here that kind of looks like a circle with a shape in it. And you have 2 options. You have inscribed and circumscribed. We are going to choose circumscribed, okay? That's where the shape is within a circle. Inscribed is when the circle is within the shape. So we're going to choose circumscribe, okay? And now you have some options of what types of polygons. So you can do pentagons, hexagons. We are going to create a hexagon, okay? So I'm going to go to my center point. I'm going to click once, okay? And I'm going to basically open it up to a certain size. It doesn't really matter. We're going to dimension the sizes. And I'm going to try to get my bottom edge to be horizontal. So once I click, it's already on 6. Notice if I slide, I'm just kind of dragging. I've already clicked once, and I'm dragging my my mouse or shrinking my cursor on the keypad, and it's allowing me to create more or less sides. I want 6. So once I have 6, I'm going to click a second time, and then it'll place it in. Now, I want to make sure that this edge is completely horizontal. So I'm going to use my geometric constraint tool, select horizontal, and then just click the edge. And that'll make sure it's geometrically constrained horizontally. Now I want to dimension one of the edges, and we're going to make it 3 inches. Okay. Notice once I did that, it made all the edges 3 inches because they are all equal in size. Once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and hit my green check mark again to finish the sketch. Okay, so now if I go back to isometric view, you'll notice now I have 2 planes with 2 drawn sketches with shapes, polygon shapes, one on top of the other. Okay, and again, I'm going to go ahead and create another offset work plane. So this time I'm going to offset from plane 1. Again, I'm going to set the distance to 4. Hit my distance. So now I have my third work plane, and this one's called plane 2. I'm now going to create my sketch again. Choose plane 2. Move it to the top. And this time, again, I'm going to create another circle, another center point circle. This time I'm going to drag it out. It's going to be a little bit smaller than my first. I'm going to go ahead and dimension, and I'm going to make it 4 inches in diameter. Enter. So now I have a 4-inch diameter, and once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and select the green check. Okay, and for the third time, I have 3 planes now. So a circle, hexagon, and another circle. Last but not least, I'm going to do one more polygon. So I'm going to offset it one last time. Plane, select plane 2, change it to 4. And I could make these distances different, and I can also go back and edit the distances at any point in time. So that's very easy to do if we went over to our features bar. So once I have the 4 inches, I'll go ahead and select again. Okay, just kind of zooming in and out just so they all fit in the screen there. And so now I have my plane 3. And last but not least, I'm going to create another sketch on plane 3. Choose it to my top view again so it turns so it's easier to see. And this time I'm going to create a pentagon. So I'm going to use my circumscribed polygon again. And this time I'm going to choose a pentagon. And again, I'm going to try to make it so the bottom edge is horizontal. So I'm going to click a second time, even though I know it's not a pentagon yet. I have to click in order to get it, and then I can sort of make it the shape that I want. So once I have it at 5, and you can always edit this as well by clicking on the 5 times. Now I'm going to go ahead and select horizontal and select my bottom edge, and it'll turn it so they're now all lined up. I believe this will just make it a little bit easier when we go to use the Loft feature. Okay, so now I have my pentagon, and I'm going to go ahead and select my green check mark again. So again, isometric view. Okay, so now I have 4 planes with 4 varied size polygons, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and use the Loft feature. The Loft feature is up on the top on our toolbar here, and it's here's extrude, and so we go to the 4th one down is Loft. So once you click Loft, you're going to get a little feature window open up, and again, it's going to be a solid. We're not removing anything at this point. We're going to be adding. So this is an additive modeling tool right now. And then all we have to do is click on each one of the sketches. Now we could choose them from the features bar, or we can choose them directly from our graphics window. So if I click on the outside edge of each of the features, you will notice now that we have a shape. And so you see the movement of the shape based upon the shapes that we created. So once we have that and they're all connected, no errors. If there was an error, you'd have one of these lines would be red, or the Loft movement would be red, and that would be telling you need to edit your one of your sketches. So, but if it looks like mine, then you're going to go ahead and click the green check mark. So just to have some fun, we're going to add a few other little features to this figure here. And so the next step is going to be we're going to add a fillet. So this time we're going to click on the fillet tool. Let's get, and the fillet tool is 2 down from Loft. We are going to create a radius of 1 inch. And we're going to select both the top surface and the bottom of our figure here. So all we need to do is click on the very top surface. Notice it's highlighting the pentagon in orange. So if I click that once, and then I'm going to rotate it to the bottom, also with a 1 inch. And then if I go back to isometric view, you'll notice we have a shape here. Okay. And now it kind of rounded the top edge and the bottom edge. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on the check mark. Okay. And now I'm going to use the extrude tool. And I'm going to select the pentagon area again and extrude that up. And it's defaulting to 1 inch, which is fine. Just what I want. Okay. And once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and select the green check mark. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to, again, do another little fillet. Oh, actually, no, I'm going to shell my feature here. So to shell it out, and what shell feature is it basically means to hollow out our structure here. So I'm going to go ahead down along the toolbar to the shell tool. Okay, and then I'm going to set the shell thickness to 0.2. And then I'm going to select the top surface of our figure here. And notice it hollowed out the inside of the bottle. And if I click on it, so it's a little, that'll work. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit the green check mark. And then if I rotate around, you can kind of see sort of the inside. It's all hollowed out inside. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to isometric view, and I'm going to fillet again. And this time I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to do the outside edge of this little bottle here. Okay, and we're actually going to make this 0.1. Okay, hit the check mark. And then last but not least, I'm going to do one more feature. And I am going to shell one last time. And I'm going to click on the interior. There's 5 interior edges, so I'm just going to kind of rotate the bottle around. I might have to zoom in here. Keep zooming into those edges to get them. And what it's doing is sort of rounding the inside of the bottle. There it is. And now I've rounded the 5 interior edges. And we're going to go ahead and leave it at 0.2 and then click the green check mark. So now, if you look, we have a bottle, sort of a bottle here, right? That has 4 different work planes. We've added a loft that has created a shape. We rounded the top and bottom edges, and then we extruded the top to kind of give us kind of a mouth to the bottle here, and then rounded those edges as well, just to kind of have some fun. Notice all the planes are visible, right? So we can easily go back and just hide each one of those. And we can even hide the top one too. And then that is what your figure will look like. So if I right click and hold, you can kind of see how it's rounded on the inside, kind of shaped there, just kind of having some fun with it based on our figure. So there is our loft tutorial. Hopefully you can follow those directions. Again, they are all written out on the on the assignment page, and you can always ask me questions. Thanks very much.